Ah. We are live with Sentimiento Latino number 127. Oh good, I was not ready. But welcome everyone, welcome to another edition of our favorite Latin American bi-weekly tournament. I'm of course your host, Light VIP, and with me I am currently on my own, but later on I will be joined by the lovely, the beautiful El Dark King himself. But before that, we have our two players ready and waiting, so let's just dive straight into it. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Brazilian Terran player representing Amantes de StarCraft. He's a speedy boy. I haven't I haven't watched Cars, I'll be honest. It is YanXII. Oh, I got the alias in just in time. Let's go. And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have his countryman, the other Brazilian player, the Brazilian Protoss player representing Death Zone Gaming. It is MeThOd. Massive shout out to Soundo in the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing 18 months in a row. Thank you. Gracias, papi, gracias. I apologize for how long it took us to get into a game. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the lovely brackets. The bracket, it's big, it's beautiful, it's throbbing. Darking did confirm that we had 100% check-in rate today. Everyone who signed up checked in. So we have a big bracket. We are missing someone. I did message Tavo. I was like, yo, Tavito, ¿a dónde estás? And Tavo's like, oh, I have classes. Like, I have classes for the next 2 hours. I can't sign up. And it's like, fair enough. You know, your studies are important. So Tavo, unfortunately, won't be playing. And when it came to the bracket itself, there were some pretty good matchups that I was trying to go for, but there are some players who were MIA. They were AFK. The big one was, I was looking at the bracket and I saw Chaos Fate, and I saw going into Chaos Fate was Eggs. I was like, mate, I need to cast Eggs versus Choro Carlo. I was like, yo, Carlitos, we need you. But Eggs isn't online. Eggs isn't online at the moment. And to be fair, he has 15 minutes. Like, he has time to get online, but you know, as casters, we were unable to you know, we can't wait 15 minutes to see if he will even show up. So Eggs is running late a little bit. The other one was I was considering casting Fate versus Facebooka, which goes into the Zerg Lord, which would have been insane. But Facebooka, Funada Facebooka in the chat, he was in a 4v4. He checked in, but he was in a 4v4. I was like, what the hell? God damn it, Facebooka. So yeah, obviously once he finishes the 4v, or once he gets out of game, he'll start his next, or his tournament run. But we couldn't necessarily wait for that either, so it's like, okay, of course there's another one, and we went for this one. You know, he may be McQueen in game, but he knows how to drift. Again, I never watched Cars, I don't know. But yes, it is going to be YanXII versus MeThOd. The winner of this series does go up against Ryu, our boy, the cranky duckling himself. Oh my. So of course we gotta be here. And honestly, the openers are pretty interesting, all things considered. Not so much from the Protoss. The Protoss did open up with a Twilight Council, so of course we have Blink on the way here for MeThOd. The rest of the gateways are about to finish up as well. He's getting a shield battery. He is playing it safe. And what's scary is that MeThOd hasn't gotten too much on. Never mind. I was like, has he gotten a scout off? I guess he has. He did see the 111, and we are seeing a bit of a drop here. Oh, I thought he was gonna go for a bit of a Hellion drop, but no, he picks up all of his Marines. He's zooming across the map, has his 7 Marines and his 3 Hellions, and he's gonna go for some multi-prong. So even though there's a wall here at the front door, the drop is gonna hopefully pull away these Stalkers, and even these Hellions with the Reaper. The Reaper could knock the Stalker out of position, and the army could just run in. Oh, up. Okay, never mind. He does go for the probe instead. Oh, there are a lot of Stalkers here at the front door, but that's a good thing for YanXII because he just goes into the main. Yo, but MeThOd was playing this safe. He has a shield battery in said main base, forces a recall, and he will lose a couple of probes, but nowhere near as much as he otherwise could have. Ooh, Medevac just barely escapes at the same time. No! The wall was not a wall. Oh my god. MeThOd is being pulled left and right. Hellion slip in, and the probes line. Oh god, no, another shot goes off. 12 probes. Not like this. Oh my god. McQueen, YanXII's all over the place. 12 rope kills, and the drop is still alive. Doesn't have the most health, so it could get picked off, especially because Blink is done. So it's going to be very risky for him to try and go for another drop. The Stalkers are waiting in the main base, but bam! The drop is in the natural. Even more lost mining time, maybe a couple of drone kills, probe kills even. This will get picked off. It should be picked off. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Medevac gets focused down. So will eventually be cleaned up, but this has already paid for itself. It would have been nice if the Marine survived, just because, you know, Stim is on the way, and it would have really helped bolster this next tank push. So that would have been nice, but, you know, YanXII, he wanted to be a little bit more greedy. He wanted a little bit more damage done, and in the end, he didn't quite get it. But again, overall, well worth it for him. He got a full scout off, confirmed that there's no Stargate or anything crazy like that, and now MeThOd is moving out across the map. Again, Blink is done, and he does have high ground vision with this observer, so if he sees the opportunity, he could try and blink into the main, but the tank has already repositioned. We already see YanXII covering his main base, covering his to be third, and MeThOd, he just can't really find a way in. He can't find any damage at all right now. Not right now, of course. If he ever sees an opportunity, I mean, I'm sure he would dive on an unsieged tank or even a Raven. We do see YanXII trying to get rid of that observer. MeThOd is wise to it. He backs off with the observer, backing up overall. Takes a couple of tank shots to the face. And behind this MeThOd, he is not going like full Zest or full Haas. He's not going mass gateway army. Of course, his third base is a little bit late for that. He is looking to reinforce his army with some of that splash time. Oh, the Raven! Oh. Raven, please. Get repaired, papi. Oh my god. Decent target fire there by MeThOd, but just wasn't close enough, or in the end wasn't able to get that Raven. YanXII starting to move out across the map. Raven is getting repaired at home. There we go. See that mass repair. And without the Raven, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to push out, but like this is still a strong push regardless. You know, we got 2 tanks, got a bunch of bio. Stim is done. Combat shields is done as well. We already saw a 4 Stim, so not amazing, but hopefully YanXII is able to preserve that for when he needs it. But like pushing into this location isn't really going to work, especially with the sheer amount of charge dots we have. Oh my god. If anything, MeThOd wants to fight right now, and he's looking for the army. He won't find it. He will catch a spotted Marine. Oh no, he won't. YanXII does spot the army though with that Marine. Oh, the tank siege up. MeThOd does back off behind this. He expands, gets a 4th base. Colossus are on the way as well. Would be nice to see a second robo at this point, just because we have our 4 bases, but we haven't yet taken our gases here at the 3rd base. So we don't necessarily have the gas for it. I say that, but MeThOd has a pretty MeThOd does have a pretty large gas bank, so he probably could afford another robo, but no, instead of a second robo, he goes for a Templar Archives instead. So looking to go into the Archons. Okay. I say Archons, I mean Storm would definitely be amazing as well. Oh, the disable of the Colossus and the anti-armor missile. Oh my god. The Raven. The Raven more than paying for itself. I'm sure MeThOd is hating himself for not killing it earlier. Finally, the Raven gets picked off, but it already used up its energy, and this may just be game. The Stalkers are getting picked off left and right. Do we have another Colossus on the way? We do not. There's nothing in production. MeThOd, please. Things are looking okay for him, but then suddenly in the blink of an eye, everything just turns around. GG gets called, and YanXII McQueen takes game number 1. Oh. Wow. GG. Make that Raven MVP. Oh. Yes. Quack in the chat. Quack. Oh god, but as we are already diving into game number 2, but if you are wondering, why is YanXII called McQueen this week? Like, what's going on here? If we have a look at the bracket, There is something interesting about the bracket. It's going to be a little bit small on screen, so I do recommend looking at it yourselves as I try and fit it all on screen there. But you should recognize there is McQueen. You can't see my mouse, but there's also a player called Lightning on the challenge bracket. Actually, on challenge, he's called Relampago. Is that lightning? Relampago? I guess so. I've never had to use the word lightning before. But Master and YanXII, they're good friends, and as a meme, Master is Lightning and YanXII is McQueen. So together they are Lightning McQueen. That's his name, right? Oh god. So yes, together they go fast. They go fast. Up. And here we go. Beautiful. We're getting into game number 2. And what a game one that was. Honestly, MeThOd, he was, for the most part, he was keeping up. Obviously, the drop was dealing a lot of damage. MeThOd did have the means to defend. It was just he wasn't splitting up his army. He was just a little bit too tunnel visioned on whatever was in front of him. Whether it was the Hellions at the front door or the drop into the main base. Yeah. A little bit rough. A little bit of a rough start for him, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have our player who is currently leading the series 1-0, representing Amantes de StarCraft in the land of Brazil. It is YanXII. YanXII? Spawning in top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes, we have our Brazilian Protoss representing Death Zone Gaming. Shout out to Cosmos and his team. It is MeThOd. Oh boy. Again, MeThOd, his builds for the most part were pretty solid. Just a couple of things didn't go his way, you know. Obviously, we have to harken back to the early defense where he lost 12 probes. Like, losing 12 probes like that early on is unacceptable. You cannot let that happen. But there was also some, like, unlucky moments where he almost killed the Raven when he was posturing outside the third base, and like if he had killed that Raven, it may have been a completely different game. The unfortunate truth is that we had a Colossus last game and it never got to swipe. Colossus was left alone. It never got to swipe right or left. Didn't get to make a choice. It just died immediately because of the disable. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. You could also argue that MeThOd, you know, he was kind of lax when it came to his macro as well. Like, there was that one Colossus, and that was the only Colossus. There was no second Colossus in production, which was a little bit surprising. Maybe MeThOd, he was banking his resources for the warping of High Templar and Archons to go into Chargeal Archon. I'm sure there was a reason for it, but yeah. In the end, did not work out for him, and now we have here in game number 2. And I have to look at MeThOd and be like, mate, yo, you gotta do something. Like, MeThod's a great player. It's not the first time we cast him, but he is more of a semi-pro. He hasn't really broken into that top, like, GM scene like YanXII. So here he is to kind of prove himself a little bit more. When it comes to Yan, it's more about, like, spreading his wings and, like, warming up for Ryu. Because Ryu is, you know, he's one of the best Zerg players in all of Latin America. Like, mate, you gotta make sure you're on form and in point. In form and on point. Oh boy. As YanXII is doing what Terran does best, going for a Widowmine opener, going for a bit of a Widowmine drop potentially. And I will see how committed he's going to be with this drop as well. Like, is he gonna go? He's gonna go crazy and throw down an armory behind this to require detection? Like, that could just be GG then and there. If there's no Robo, if there's no Stargate. Meanwhile, MeThOd does cancel his gateway at the front door. Okay, interesting. I guess he didn't want a third gate. Was that a gateway? I'm second guessing myself a little bit, but there we go. Robo is thrown down. He hasn't necessarily scouted what is coming his way, but if there was an armory, then, you know, he would have access to detection. So playing it safe. Unfortunately, MeThOd doesn't know that There is no armory. Oh my god, there's no armory, but there is a hidden tech structure. We have a fusion core? What? Wait, actually what? wait, what? BCs in TvP? Is that what we're about to see right now? I almost want to say range lib. I feel like that may be better, but I feel like Yan is just having some fun right now. I haven't seen this before. We see it, you know, all more frequently against Zerg, right? Like BC openers into mech. It's relatively common against Zerg. But this early against Protoss, okay. Show us the lib range, Kappa. Meanwhile, the Hellions do distract these Stalkers here at the natural base. We have the drop going into the main. We do not have Blink this time, but we do have an Observer on the way. I mean, we didn't need an Observer anyway, but so far this drop does nothing, and there is that BC. Oh my god. When my drop comes back in, up, and a couple of shots are going to go off again. There is no Blink, so the micro against these is going to be a little bit difficult. Oh god, the bait! One Stalker gets picked off, and only one. Even see a oh, but Method's, oh no, Method is panicking a little bit. We see a recall there for the probes in the main base. No, the drop comes back in. No, not like this. He does target fire the workers, but thankfully for Method, a bunch of them were hugging the Nexus because of the recall. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but okay, Method, he survives. He defends, only losing 2 probes. Method is very far ahead in the workers. Look at this, 37 against 26, mate. But our Terran player is looking to make up for that. We have a very fast RTC. Oh, BC teleports across the map immediately. Oh my god. He just doesn't even care. BC is here. 4 or 5 probes get picked off. 6, 7 target fire. Again, without Blink, it's going to be difficult to force us back. Because of the dead space, the BC just waddles back as well. He doesn't even care. It doesn't even matter. Oh my god, another Widowmine went in. The multi-pro, he saves it. He saves it. Ay, ay, ay. And now suddenly, when Method was ahead by 10 probes, we are now even in workers. It goes to show how necessary this harassment was, because otherwise YanXII would have been putting himself behind, so he had to deal damage here with his BC and his Widowmines, and he did it. He was successfully able to pull it off. And now we're kind of even in that respect. I say even, now YanXII's ahead because he's got a 3rd CC, he's got the tech. He's not making a 2nd BC, which is a little bit interesting that he would invest into a fusion core without a 2nd BC. That's a pretty big investment. But if the BC lives, then, I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh god, no! Ah! BC, please. It does teleport back. That was a close one. Thankfully for Method, he didn't overreact. It was only a single BC, and he didn't throw down a Stargate and start like Void Ray production or anything like that. Like, he's still relying on his Wing Stalkers, so he didn't waste any resources trying to tech up in that direction, assuming that there would have been more BCs, as there was only one. Meanwhile, Medevac does try to escape, but oh, does get sniped. Method is on top of all of that, getting his own third up and running. And interesting, like, despite getting that 3rd CC up and running, like, Method has already caught up again, or even just vastly overtaken YanXII in probes. Like, Method is on point with his probing and with his, I should say, chrono boosting. Boy, Method now is across the map. Blink is now done. The tanks are on siege, so I guess he can try and pick one off. That's exactly what he's going to try and do, and he does. Gets a tank essentially for free. Nice micro. Oh my god, and Method is taking a 4th behind this. Oh my god. We need more gates. How many gates do we have? We have 5 gates in total right now. This is very reminiscent to the previous game. But like, yo, if we're expanding this quickly, like, mate, throw down more gates, get those warping of zealots going. Right now, a little bit preoccupied with his micro. Just shaving off a couple of Marines here and there. Not bad, not bad. Not bad trades. But he has to be careful because, do you see what I see? I see 5 tanks. Usually when an army pushes out, the first like tank bio push, it's like 3 tanks. We have 5. The tank count is absolutely insane. And now that stim and combat shields is done, a little bit premature with that stim. But like this is a very hard hitting army. This is gonna hit. Like he's getting a 6th tank. It's crazy. He just doesn't stop. Like when this does push out, like I don't know if MeThOd is gonna be able to hold it. I say that, but with 4 more gateways, there we go. So 9 in total. He should be able to warp in zealots to help clean everything up. Like with enough zealots, you can close the distance and get on top of these tanks. But here we go. We need MeThOd. We need zealots now because 6 tanks are coming across the map. Yeah. Okay, let's go. What do we have to meet this? We're gonna have 2 Colossus. Charge is done, I believe. But we do need that warp in. Like the army of MeThOd is still looking relatively small. There we go. A couple of zealots are coming in. MeThOd is nowhere close to being supply blocked, so he doesn't have to worry too much about that. But no, he moves out of position. Pulled apart a little bit by that BC. But oh my god, look at all these tanks though. Oh my god, they're left a little bit exposed themselves. They got on top of all the tanks. Yo, exclamation mark for not YanXII. The bio had to be here to protect the tanks, and in the end they all get picked up except for 1. But 1 is all you need. The army stims on forward. Where was the extra round of zealots, puppy? It just wasn't here. Now they're being morphed in, but we needed them sooner, and they even get denied. GG gets called. YanXII, McQueen, he does it. He takes the series 2-0. GG. Oh. What a game. Wow. Crazy. So yeah, you know, I guess the tanks kind of served their purpose. You know, they did tank all those zealots, Kappa. Ideally, I don't think your tanks are supposed to be your wall for your bio, but you know, it worked in the end, so does it even matter? Does it even matter? GG. Hola, patitos preciosos. ¡Gah! Hola, Dastan. Oye, hey, Dastan, ¿por qué no estás en el torneo? Dastan, why are you not in the tournament? Shaking my head. But it is great to see Dastan there in the chat. He's our boy. Less than three, Dastan. And yeah, congratulations to YanXII for making it through the first round. Again, just kind of warming up, getting ready for his next series. MeThOd was kind of the underdog coming into it. Maybe doesn't feel too bad about it. There were, you know, some moments of brilliance. There was some nice micro. He had very good macro, very good pro production as well. But it did come down to his army overall in the end. Sure, this time he had 2 Colossus. But it did feel like he was missing some warp-ins. When the attack was happening, I think he was banking like 800 minerals, like 600 gas. Like he just, wasn't efficiently spending his money when he needed to, right? Because he scouted. He saw all those tanks, by the way, when he was across the map. Like he was well aware of how high that tank count was getting. And he should have taken it a little bit more seriously. A little bit. But with that, YanXII will move on, and we are going to get ready for our next series, which is going to be one of our own, one of the Ducklings himself. YanXII is going up against Ryu.